Hi everyone, today we're going to do a detailed tour of how I deal with the solid waste in our aquaponics system. These videos are brought to you by our Patreon contributors. Our top contributors are glassbottleoutlet.com and trueaquaponics.com. They have both been long-term supporters of our channel, and I would appreciate if you visited their websites in the links below. I get a lot of questions and comments about dealing with solid waste in these aquaponics systems, so I figured I'd show it to you in great detail. And I've done a few of these in the past, and I make changes along the way. This is always sort of a little experiment for me, trying to fine-tune things. So if you watch the original videos of me building this out, it was all nice and clean. Now over the past few years it's gotten a little dirtier, but there are some subtle changes to this, so I wanted to show you the entire process all in one shot. Now the first part of dealing with the solids removal is getting them out of your fish tank. So this tank, it's a round tank, it's 1,350 gallons, and it uses a slow method, commonly known as solid lifting output. And there's a pipe that goes down to the center bottom of this tank, and it's basically an upside down fitting that's at the bottom of this pipe that has a bunch of grooves cut into it, and that allows any of the solids to work their way into the middle of that without the fish getting into that pipe, unless you have really small ones, and I've had a few tiny ones work their way through. So then that lifts up and over and then comes out and then will work its way into the radial flow settler. Now I did install a valve at this point, which allows me to turn on and off the water output as it gets into the radial flow settler. So if I had to do maintenance on that, I can just shut off the water. The other important thing is that you need an air outlet on the slow to prevent it from siphoning. So that just comes up out of the water like that. If that was closed off, you do run the risk of siphoning a lot of water out of your tank. So you need to have that in here. This tank also has a overflow on it set up here, and this part's just a screen, and that allows, if the water isn't coming out of the slow fast enough, any extra water that's in here will overflow into this. And this is just skimming the water off about an inch or so down below the surface. And this is sort of like a Cornell style setup, where you still have fairly clean water near the surface since all the solids are working their way down. So any water that is extra in this will overflow through here and then head off down later down in the system. And this allows you to have less water going into the radial flow settler, and you don't have to have as large of a settler, since some of the water just will work its way through here. So some of the water is draining into this radial flow settler, and this consists of, it was a 120 gallon cone bottom tank, and I cut the top off of it. It was a little bit too high, so it's really, this is the 80 gallon mark here, and then I just used the old top as a cover. Now a lot of larger systems will start using drum filters for their solids. This is a nice passive way of removing it. The drum filters need a little electricity to rotate their drums and whatnot. So I happen to like this. It's been working well for me. Taking the cover off, you can see there is some debris up along the top. We'll cover that in a minute. But the overall principle of this is the water comes in and drops down, and it hits against this diffusion plate. And by the way, this is a plate that I sell on my website. It's just a 3D printed plate. A lot of systems, they'll come up into the side and then up and over and then overflow. But I figured it was just easier to do this way. There's a few less fittings involved, and I can get into this pipe to clean it out. Over time, maybe once a year or twice a year, I'll run a bottle brush on a long stick through this pipe just to get some of the bioslime out of it. But for the most part, it doesn't really clog up. So when the water comes in here, it enters into this stilling well that goes nearly to the bottom of the tank, and that just allows for the much heavier solids to work their way down and drop right down into the bottom of the cone. And then the water then has to pass around there and works its way up through this part of the system, and the water movement in here is extremely slow. So by that slow movement, there's not a lot of currents and eddies in here to stir up the solids. So those solids also settle down to the bottom. And then from there, the water is distributed around the sides of this through this sawtooth shaped weir. And that, again, that's helped to minimize the amount of currents that are created in here, because you're distributing all that flow slowly around the whole perimeter. And the water drops into this outer tray and then exits out through this 2-inch fitting that's over here. I probably should have made my stilling well holder out of stainless steel. I knew it was going to rust. This is 3 or 4 years old now. Probably get a few more years out of it before it falls apart, but it should be stainless. Now this system does need some routine maintenance. You can see here I have my solids floating up to the top, and this usually happens if I haven't cleaned it for a week or so, and the solids accumulate down along the bottom. Even though this is cone shaped, not everything works its way down to the bottom of the cone. So the solids start accumulating on the sides, and then as they start to break down, you get some gases building up into it, and that makes them buoyant, and then they float up to the top. Luckily the weir catches most of these from floating out, so they don't really escape. Some smaller pieces will, but for the most part the larger solid chunks won't work their way out past the weir. The overall principle behind this is really no different than how the settling ponds work at a sewage treatment plant. With your wastewater coming in, it settles out in the pond and then gets distributed over the weirs that they have around the outer perimeter. Except they have, in the bottom of their ponds, usually this large wiper that comes across and slowly sweeps the sludge off the bottom, which is not something that I have in here. I may tinker with that someday, maybe on a larger tank or maybe even on this one. So to clean it, I just shut off the water, intake water, and that allows the water level to settle down in this. And as I'm going to scoop out these floaters that are in here, and that will prevent any broken ones from getting washed out into the rest of the system. This case is where it's nice having the overflow in the fish tank, so I can just leave the water pump running, continue circulating the water in the system, and just shut off this one spot. I have this old fish net that's broken. It's perfect for an application like this. And then I just go through and scoop out these larger pieces. There's a lot of solids in here, and I just dump them into the mineralization tank. I'll take you for a look inside the tank. You can see the sidewalls, not much accumulates on them, but once you get down, even this is a 60-degree angle, a lot of solids will start working their way and accumulating on there. And that's the part where once they start getting too thick, they'll just pull up and start floating to the top. And then when I go to clean, I just take my brush and sort of go down the sides, pushing that material closer to the center. I also like to remove the diffusion plate, just make sure everything's okay in here. There's usually quite a bit of solids that accumulate in here too. They just float back up to the top. They get knocked down, but while I'm in here, I just clean it out. Now the water in here got stirred up pretty good, so I let it set for 10 or 15 minutes just to settle back down again, and just open up the valve and we're up and running again. Any of the water that comes out of the overflow of the fish tank or the radial flow settler just works its way down and then ends up in the media beds. So those act as one more level of filtration if there's any solids that work their way through, and of course is the biofilter for the rest of the system. Now hiding behind the radial flow settler is my mineralization tank. The principle is very simple. This is basically a big tank that the water's swirling around in there, mixing and getting aerated. It works its way down to the pump, and this pump is pumping it back up and continues that cycle. So it's just going in a huge circular pattern. Now you may have seen my original one. I used a couple of air lifts to circulate this, and they worked fairly well. I have to say that this little pump on here uses substantially less power, and I have not had it clog at all. You would think that with the debris that's in here it would clog, but I haven't had a single problem with that pump. The key is that it just uses so much less power than anything with an airlift. The two tanks are interconnected. So there's a valve here that's holding the water back into the radial flow settler, and then there's a pipe that connects one tank into the other. So when the solids are accumulating in here, all I need to do is once in a while just open up this valve, and since the water level in this tank is lower than the water level in this tank, it forces the sludge through this line and into the water column for this tank. So usually once a day, I just open that up, dump the solids in, and close it. So it's only on for maybe 5 or 10 seconds at most. Taking a look inside, there's just this manifold running down here, and inside there are 6 infusionator nozzles. Very experimental at this stage of it, where I'm using that to inject air into the water. They work well, except occasionally they have clogged, and they are not designed for an application like this at all. But surprisingly, they're working better than I expected. So this is the air manifold, have a little muffler on here to quiet things down. And then each nozzle is injecting air in. You can see it bubbling in here. And now I can tell that this one is clogged. So we're going to pull that one off, and I'll show you what happens inside of these. But overall, the water's circulating very nicely in here. There's a little vortex. So I'm going to shut off the pump now, and this is about once a week, usually on the weekends. I'll shut this down and check all my nozzles and let all the heavier solids settle down to the bottom. So while this settles down, we'll just pull off this nozzle and do a little quick autopsy on it, and I'll show you what's happening in there. And yes, I wash my hands after dealing with all the fish manure. So it gets impacted fairly well. So we're just gonna push everything out of it. So overall, most of this is thin. This is where the problems start coming in. Here's a fish scale, another smaller one. So that fish scale can't work its way through the nozzle, the restrictor area in here, and just gets stuck in there. So every so often, this is what's happening. The rest of these solids, they pump right through this without any problem at all, but it's the fish scale, and occasionally I'll find a bone in there. So if I do have a dead fish in the tank, I have to check it more often just to get the fish out in case one of them's dead, because then I start getting a lot of scales ending up through the system. I'm putting a brand new one in here. That one was a original 3D printed prototype, so we're gonna put a real one in. The prototypes tend to break. They're not really designed for any type of abuse. They're just for testing, and this one's made out of nice polycarbonate, so it's gonna last forever. Now that most of the solids have settled down, we're gonna remove them from the tank, and just in line with the pump line is this valve. Just flows in a 5-gallon bucket. One thing to note about when I drain this, you'll see that the liquid is somewhat light colored at first coming into it, and then it gets really dark, and then it turns light again. So the light color the first time around is what's just in the plumbing itself. Then when it gets dark, it's all that sludge that's coming out of the bottom of the tank, and then it's going to get light again when the sludge is gone, and now it's just extracting the regular water out of the tank. I'll usually leave this bucket here for a day, let the sludge settle down. I'll usually get about 2 to 3 inches of sludge, and the rest of this is water. So then I just siphon the water from this bucket down into the media bed, so I get that nice nutrient-rich water getting into the system. The sludge, I'm just tossing it into the field. I don't have much use for it. I could put it back into the mineralization tank, but I have found that if you get too much sludge in there, it really doesn't swirl very well in there. You just lose that viscosity of the water to keep things moving. So I usually just let that sludge go to waste. When I open up that valve between the two tanks, you'll notice that the sludge in the radial flow settler is definitely working its way through real quick, because the color of the water getting pumped through the nozzles changes to a very dark color for a few seconds. Another thing I like to do is take some of this nutrient-filled water and put it into my watering can. And I have several potted plants that are in just regular soil, and so that nice nutrient water can get in there. This is a mini banana plant, and these are a whole bunch of amaryllis plants. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the solids filtration for this aquaponics system. Overall, it's not a lot of maintenance. It looked like a lot just from the video, but it's really a once a week activity for the most part, just to quickly clean out things. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.